Thank you for waiting while I took that break. That was episode 1. That's where it all got started. I can tell you right now, unless you've watched the YouTube video, you did not see that because no one was around Twitch in the early days. In fact, when I first thought of doing like game development on Twitch, because there was no game development tag, I didn't know anyone else was doing it, to be honest. I thought, maybe I could be the first to do it, but yeah, there were other people doing it. But like me, they were just hidden. So yeah, the most famous example is obviously Vlambeer. Those guys are awesome. They not only really support the independent game community, they're just friendly in general, and they were doing live streaming of their game dev and everything else. They're the ones that made like the press kit that a lot of game developers use to support their independent games. And just as a fan, Luftrausers was awesome. It had the retro thing, and if you are interested in game design, there's a link you have to see. Bone Crusher, for example. Bone Crusher. You've probably seen me mention this link before, but this is a video for you if you are into game design, if I can find it. After building it up that much, I have to be able to find it. Oh shoot. Let's see. Well, I need to get the name first. So let's see. Here, let's get the name. Yan. It's Yan who gave the talk. Usually it's I'm gonna mispronounce his name, but Rami, I think, who gives most of the talks. But this was a Yan talk. It was a technical talk. And YouTube. Let's see if I can find it. Is this it? I think this is it. I think this is it. I'm not going to show it because obviously I don't want to. The last person I want to violate the copyright of is Yan because he's awesome. But this is the video. This is a video you have to see. Yan William Neiman. If I pronounce that right, I'm sorry. Of Vlambeer. The Art of Screen Shake. It is. If you are a game designer, especially if you are an indie game designer, especially if you are doing 2D games, this is probably the best 44 minutes you can spend in your life. There's a build-up. Well, actually, the best 44 minutes is watching Project Spaghetti. No, I can't say that. This is the best 44 minutes you will spend because really goes through and talks about just these little things that he has found over the years that just make a game feel good. Some of these hints, for example, are in Project Spaghetti, like Pandavits is probably noticing right now. Well, you've seen it. Whenever a bullet explodes, for example, the screen shakes. Things like that. The Art of Screen Shake. Obviously, that was one of the hints, but just to make things feel more physical, those little one-frame pauses. I couldn't do it in GameMaker because GameMaker doesn't have a wait, and it would be kind of hard to do a mini pause and things like that without breaking the rest of the game. But there are a lot of things in there that are great tips for making a game feel right, and he will step you through the game in the beginning, which works. It works, but it just doesn't feel good, to a game that actually feels good. Even though it's just a basic example, it's just a very basic shooter example. But Bone Crusher, definitely, I recommend you watching this. Let me actually post the link in the feed here. That is the link. But let me go back to the chat while you guys were talking during the break. And let's see. Bone Crusher mentioned found us during the first week you were streaming on Twitch, and being a new game dev, watched multiple streams and only stuck with mine. Well, thank you. That makes me very happy. Well, all of you guys in here today supporting us, making me very happy. I'm glad this was something you stuck with. I'm glad to see. I'm glad especially that you're here today. I do need to show you your character. What I was planning on doing was installing the game and actually playing it a little bit live as well, just to prove that it works as well. But to get your character out in Twitch mode might take a little longer, so just in case you do have to boogie out before then, let me show your character. Project Spaghetti, yes, there's my file structure, if you want to hack me. There we go. Characters. Bounty Cowboys. So, Bone Crusher, just to let you know, what these characters are, in unlimited mode, randomly, one of you guys will appear every once in a while. Very tough enemy, ducks a lot, kind of like the boss cowboy that Panda Bits finally conquered just now. Ducks a lot, shoots a lot. Very hard to kill, but worth points. Sorry guys, I guess I am killing someone on the air this special episode. But Bone Crusher did put you in there. Whether this is what you want or not. Oh shoot, I have to zoom in. Hold on a second. I always forget the way our Earth and View works. That's actually really bad. Let's open this up in Photoshop. Earth and View is not good for zooming in on pixel art, so let's do this. So Bone Crusher. There you are, buddy. I wanted to ask you like what character you wanted, and I can change it if you do want me to, but I figured a grinning skull, bone crushing skull. And, you know, just to separate your costume from the other characters, I figured purple kind of worked with pink. Obviously, I don't have very many options with the Commodore 64 palette, but you show up in the game. That is you. In Twitch mode as well, if you give someone a present of a bounty, one of these bounty characters will show up. And one of those characters could be Bone Crusher. Well, let me show the other characters real quick. The rest of you guys have all seen your characters, but just to show them one more time. This is Decent Scrimp. It doesn't make a lot of sense if you don't know Decent Scrimp, but actually Decent Scrimp and me are friends. We both worked together at the same place, the same game development company over here in Japan for a while. He has since moved back to the States, moved on to bigger and better things, but we obviously still keep in touch. He is the person I play like Xbox games with. Well, lately, because of Project Spaghetti, I haven't been able to play games at all, to be honest, really. But before then, we were always playing multiplayer, and especially like back when I was still single, it was just night after night of like playing through interesting games like Too Human. I hope Decent Scrimp is still in this chat because we could start talking about Too Human. But yes, this is Decent Scrimp, and he is a fearsomely buff guy with a red beard. Actually, to let you know, B Grim, the character in here, takes the first letter of Decent Scrimp's real name, and that's where the B comes from. So, buddy, if you are in here, that evil producer character, his flaming beard came from you, and the B came from you. Just kind of a tribute. Jim Orion does know who Decent Scrimp is, because way back in the couple of years ago when I did get married, went back to California to get married, and Decent Scrimp was at the wedding along with Jim Orion, obviously my brother. Let's see some of the other characters. That is also a wino story. I am oddly enough certified, not a sommelier because you have to actually be in a waiting position to be a sommelier, but the equivalent amateur thing for being a wine expert or whatever. I do have that. I did study very hard for it. Not sure why, I guess, but this is going to be a really big aside. But if you like food and you can handle alcohol, studying wine is actually a really good way to kind of improve just life in general. This is going to sound very weird, but here's why. When you go out to dinner, obviously if it's not McDonald's or Taco Bell, if it's a place that serves wine, there's a wine list. If there's not even a wine list, there's usually 2 or 3 wines on the menu or something like that. If you've studied wine, it kind of doubles how much fun you can have at a meal. Because if you don't know anything about wine, the usual thing is you either like red or white. If you're going to get wine in the first place, you either like red or white. So all you do is you say, just give me whatever you recommend for red. Give me whatever you recommend for white. And that's it. It's not much decision. You could imagine if you went to a restaurant and just said, give me whatever you feel like from the menu. Yeah, I mean, it's cool to have a surprise and all, but if you kind of know what a shrimp is, or you know what a beef is, or what a carrot is, you kind of know what you're picking from the menu. And learning about wine is the same way. Once you start to learn what a Cabernet Sauvignon is, what a Sangiovese is, which ones you like and don't like. Like for me, for example, I like Italian wines. This is only on live show. I'll have to edit this out. But wine talk, yes. Like me, I like Italian wines. I do like, obviously, all wines around the world, but Italian wines especially because they have just that little bit of spice in them. It's hard to describe what it is, but the easiest way I can say is when I was a kid, I used to eat these like spicy gumdrop candies, and they were my favorite kind of things. And like cinnamon sticks and things like that were my favorite thing. And I detect those kind of spices in Italian wines, so I just tend to kind of get this kind of happy childlike feeling when when I have an Italian red wine. So when I go out, I know, okay, if there's a Sangiovese on the menu, then if I know it's like Chianti Classico, all right, this is probably good. If it's just Sangiovese, then maybe it's kind of fishy. You can make all these decisions, and it doubles your mealtime fun. So that's wine. By the way, another game I was considering between the bird game and this game was actually a wine adventure game. Just something to put use of this worthless wine trivia that's running around in my head. That would have been interesting. But let me go through the other bounty characters. This is House of Klaus. House of Klaus started watching not too long ago, but he's been a very good fan of the show since, and streams The Witcher lately. Very awesome. I will have to give all you guys props at the end of the show, proper props. I have all those links ready to give you guys your props. That's House of Klaus. He gets the house on his head. Oh, yes, one of the overtime tasks. I think Firefox has loaded up a couple of videos, and that's why my system's going slow. I gave you your doorknob fists. That was one of the tasks. I did do that. Let's see. That's product. Wrong folder. That's where I get all those images for like itch and stuff. This is Jim Orion. Jim Orion my brother has a great stream where he talks about Kerbal Space Program, and unlike me, he knows how to manage his voice very well. So he can actually go for like 6 hours, 8 hours. I think he went 12 hours once, but he has a lot of fans, and with good reason. His stream is actually really good. Even if he wasn't my brother, I would still be watching his stream because I've not had the chance to get into Kerbal Space Program. I know it takes time to get into it because it's obviously modeled on very realistic things, so it takes a while to eventually get out into space and everything else. So I don't have the time to put into the game that I want to put into it. But he does a great job of showing the game, talks through it, explains things. He has a voice unlike mine, which doesn't like scream out in the dark. He actually has a voice that's very relaxing and soothing. So it's like watching a Nova special on TV or something like that, where it's relaxing, describing about space. It's very cool. And so I gave him kind of a Kerbal look for his bounty character. And Panda Bits, you know what yours is. You gave me a picture of you inside of a red panda, so I gave you your panda head. And Cirrus, yes, Cirrus. Cirrus has been awesome these last couple of months, just being able to chat once in a while, talking about like horror movies. He's the one that got me onto American Horror Story, for example, so the references in the show are thanks to him. But yeah, we started talking about Friday the 13th and stuff like that, so I gave him kind of the Jason look. So those are the bounty characters. But yes, Bone Crusher, that is you. You are in the game. So if you find yourself. And Bone Crusher mentioned I've watched all the videos on YouTube. Oh, okay. Man, you are a super fan. I'm glad I put you into the game. Yes, you are a super fan. Watching all the videos on YouTube, that is awesome. You are a trooper, because one of the things about YouTube, this will be part of the look back, but I'll talk about things that I think are working well and aren't working well, things I want to work on. One of the things is YouTube. 2-hour videos on YouTube. Nobody wants to watch 2 hours on YouTube. Well, almost nobody. But despite that, I wanted to put these videos on YouTube so that people who do get interested in the show later can look back and see, oh, okay, this is how this game got made, things like that. Want it to be there. It's like I always say at the start of the show, this is not about a how-to make a game thing. It's more just by watching someone go from 0 to 100 on a game, you can realize, yes, it's possible you can do it. That was the goal of the show, and so I wanted all those videos on YouTube, even though, if someone does just randomly stumble across like episode 32, they're probably going to be like watching for about 10 minutes and be like, what the heck is this? Click away. So YouTube is one of those very tricky things. But Cirrus, sorry to get to you so late, but yes, congrats, Blue. Yes, Cirrus, we finally launched. Yes, you saw the trailer just now, but yes, we finally launched. Blue Tango over at itch.io Project Spaghetti, yes, and I went through like the different packages and things like that. price point is $7.99 for the basic package, but $9.99 if you want to get some of these extras down here, like the Sapphire Key, the original. Oh, this is off screen, isn't it? My browser's way up there. Okay. If you want to get like the Speed Boost Key, the original soundtrack, granted it's short, it's kind of a retro soundtrack, and a lost episode of the show with hints to finding the different keys in the game. You know, obviously as a game developer, put a lot of work into this. Wish I could, you know, charge $10 for it, but being realistic in an environment where there are $10 games that are made by teams and things like that, it doesn't seem fair to charge $10 when there are other options for $10. So that's why I set like that one price point at $7.99, even though I wish, you know, the game could sell for $10, because it was a lot of work making it. Obviously a year of my life and change, I suppose, with all the overtime. But let's see, that's that. Screen shake. Yes, there is screen shake with the explosions. And Pandavit's second boss wrecked, so you killed the ghost. Man, you're going. Nice. Okay. And Bone Crusher mentioned that looks amazing. You like your character. Well, thank you. I'm glad you like it. I hope you can run across your character in the game. If you need hints on how to find that character, let me know, because I will help you find that character. And Pandabits mentions it's pretty easy to stun lock the Scorpion boss. Yes, if you get him in the middle of those cacti. What I probably should do then with that boss, that's actually a very good point, is after taking damage, disappear. Like the ghost, what I should probably do is if the Scorpion boss does get hurt, have the Scorpion boss warp away, just so that you have to set him up again. Obviously, being in the middle of like those cacti, the whole thing is that you have to use the cacti to kind of get him stun locked and then shoot him. But yeah, if he stays there, then it's probably too easy of a boss fight. So thank you for that. I will definitely think about that. Yeah, and Jamorian mentioned, you know, kind of following up on what I said. Yeah, not a how-to, but a you can to. Exactly. And like I said at the very beginning of the show, the thing that inspired me to kind of do this is NaNoWriMo. Jamorian would know all about this because Jim is a writer, as well as Jim is multi-talented. He's an awesome writer, awesome editor, awesome at physics and math, obviously to be able to do Kerbal Space Program, and also is a professional video editor. Basically, Jim proves that you can do anything. If you've ever seen, give my brother his proper props for being an awesome person. Not sure how many of you are going to know this TV show. I don't mean the Pretender TV show. Not sure how many of you guys have seen this show, but if you've ever seen The Pretender, you know that Jared, the main character, is multi-talented, and in an instant he can pick up a skill and become a doctor, for example. That's his whole thing. It's actually a really great show, by the way. I would actually really recommend this show if you haven't seen it. If you can go back and watch it. But Jim is like the Pretender. He's like Jared. He can pick up skills like that and master them like that. I am the anti-Pretender. It takes me a really long time to get kind of halfway on skills. That's the difference. A few genes here, a few genes there, and very different people. But Pandavit said he killed me enough times that I accidentally selected quit. Rest in peace, my run. Pandavit, I'm sorry, guy. That's unfortunate. That's too bad. By the way, if it was a problem, like if you're trying to move really fast and then, you know, doing the stuff and you suddenly died, then let me know, because I could probably add a pause in between there just to make sure people don't accidentally quit, because that would be very unfortunate. But let's see, I didn't have a chance to count during the break, so that's one of the things I'll have to do later. But I do want to count all of these tasks and see how long it took me to make this game, because I'm curious myself. But I can tell you, by the end of week 50, this is about where we were in terms of that stuff. The last time I counted tasks and checked the burn down was week... Maybe it's... is it in here? Maybe there's comments. Week 39, okay. So yeah, by week 39, in addition to all of the episode tasks, which was, let's see, 39 times 2, that's about 80. In addition to that, there were about 112 hours worth of tasks done. These are just the numbers I've been using in the tasks. They aren't the actual hours done. That's something we have to calculate later. But I don't want to just sit here with the Windows calculator and just add these things up in front of you. That would make your life miserable. So that's going to be my job during some of these breaks. But I do have some notes on things I want to go over. If I can find them. Let's see, topics. Yeah, I want to make sure I do kind of cover everything because this is a look back episode. Yes, I did do the 1 year thing in the trailer premiere, but oops moments. Yes, this is kind of a big deal. Oops moments. Looking back on the project, things I screwed up. In addition to the bugs that are being found now, things I've screwed up. One thing I screwed up was the biggest thing I screwed up was a month ago. If you recall, I used to have, if it's still here, no I don't, yeah it's gone. If you recall, I used to have a folder here called Project Spaghetti. In that folder were all of the Photoshop layer files with all the graphics, all of the music keys, all of the sound effects, all of the text things, everything else was in that folder. A month ago, decided I need to test the build of this game. So in GameMaker, used the build command, made the installer, installed it in a folder on the desktop so I could find it really easily, called Project Spaghetti. Good so far. And then I'm done testing it. Hey, it works, great. It builds correctly. Good for me. Okay, uninstall, off to the gym. Come back from the gym. Wait a minute, where's my Project Spaghetti data folder? That is an oops. Oh man, I was ready to jump in front of a Japanese train, Japanese salaryman style there. Yes, that was horrible. That was the worst feeling throughout the entire project 1 month ago. In the pits. Was rescued by a couple of things. Tried different undelete utilities. I used to have them over here, but I think I moved them away. Tried different undelete utilities. None of them worked worth beans. Didn't get the files back that way. But GameMaker, Bone Crusher. If you are using GameMaker, let me go through this. Let me show you something. User Eric. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, it's not. It's under app data. No, it's under documents. It's under documents, isn't it? There's so many GameMaker folders. Yes, Eric, my documents. Well, your username, my document. That's Japanese, sorry, but it says my documents. GameMaker projects. In here, all the projects that you're working on are in here. I've obviously been doing backups the hard way. But what saved me was inside of here. It keeps all of your data, obviously. So for example, sprites, images, everything being used in the game is in here. Oh man, if it were not for this, by the way, here's all of the sprites that have gone into making the game. It's a lot of them. With my horrible drawing skills, but still managed to get it together. But yes, those are all the things that went into making a game. So I lost my layers. So editing these sprites is now a pain because I can't just, switch back and forth and do things. I have to reconstruct those layers from scratch if I want to do that. But at least the base data was there. So that saved me with that. Again, with the sounds, all of that audio is in this folder as well. So that at least I have the sounds. I don't have the bass I used for them and things like that, so I lost some of that stuff. But so two things to come out of this. Never ever install your game to a folder that has something in it, because uninstall will just say, he wants to delete everything in this folder, let's go to it. Lesson learned. Thank you, Windows. That was awesome. That was horrible. And Panda Bits, the alien shoots all these lasers like 24. Yes. The alien makes it a little difficult. Yes, the boss alien Panda Bits is experiencing that. That is one of the highlights of the preview video, having the last form where the lasers are just firing out everywhere, and you really have to duck. And Bone Crusher mentioned, yes, I've used that multiple times for sprites and scripts, so you know what's up. But yes, but just a word of warning: never do that. One other word of warning is probably never put data on the desktop. I've learned this the hard way at work and full-time job and other places as well. Just never put data on the desktop. You will lose it. you will accidentally delete it one day. Because one other oops moment was I accidentally deleted the temp folder where I had all of like my please wait music and Twitter announcements and things like that. And it's like, okay, well, at least that I could kind of reconstruct easily. But didn't learn my lesson and lost the project spaghetti folder later. So another lesson to learn is if you learned a lesson once, learn it. Learn it. Learn it properly. Don't forget it. Look back number 2. In fact, let's show this stuff. Oops moments. Let me pull up Notepad. My computer's chugging on me because I have too many things open at the same time. I think I have too many Twitch feeds open is the problem. But, oops moments. So yeah, there's installing Project Spaghetti over the data folder, erasing all of the data when it uninstalled. That was horrible. Source control fiasco. Game Maker last year started introducing source control integration. That sounded great. I want to use source control in my projects. I don't like backing up folders manually. I don't like the odds of me saving over something accidentally and not remembering how I did it before. I want to use source control, but I should do it manually because when I used Game Maker source control integration, it screwed up the entire project. Yeah, that was great. Spent the weekend trying to fix it so that source control would work. Did not succeed. Ended up going up to a backup project. Remember that folder where it had, episode 32, 33, 34. Thankfully, I was doing that because I was able to go back to the last iteration, make the changes that I made, and then just stop using source control. That was when they first introduced it. Now, maybe with 1.4, maybe it's better. Maybe it'll work out okay if I use it from the start on a new project. At least then I won't lose much if I fail. But word to the wise, if you are using Game Maker source control, people do have problems with it. Things happen. When I was looking up how to solve the problem, I noticed a lot of people having different problems with it. Use it at your own risk. That's not to knock the Game Maker guys. They're doing their best, but use it at your own risk. If you want to use source control, probably just grab SVN, do it yourself. Probably don't integrate because it might be fishy. Yes, and I mentioned this oops moment earlier, but the promotional video, spending a whole day capturing footage, getting it just right, rendering it out, and seeing it all blurry and blocky. That was a day of my life I'll never get back. Yes, got to redo the entire promotional video with a higher bit rate. What that is. And Pandabits mentioned one odd little thing is you can stand on the alien boss even though bullets bounce off of it. Yes, the enemy collision. I did it that way by design because one problem is if you do run into enemies, it feels kind of weird on the control stuff, especially if enemies are kind of like squeezing into you and things like that. Bad things can happen. With the alien boss, because it is so big and it's alone, maybe it's okay to put collision on it and it won't wreck things. But yeah, just for gameplay, I figured it makes more sense to not visually. It makes more sense to not be able to stand on the alien, but it could screw game things up, so that was one reason I left it as is. But let's look into that. Let's add that task to the list. Thank you, Pandabits. At least for the alien boss. Look into collision. Okay. Okay, let's put that up there. And Team Kev25 drops by. Welcome. This is a very different episode, by the way. It's kind of a weird one to start with because it's kind of the wrap up for the project. We've launched Project Spaghetti, and this is kind of a look back episode. So it's not really game design per se. It's more looking back at game design. But do you have an iPhone? I do not have an iPhone, and I do not have an iPhone version of the game. Good chance to talk about mobile support. I do have tasks in here, like Steam. Let's go through the list. Steam Greenlight. Let's describe the process. I do want to go on Steam Greenlight, so I am going to make, put the pay the $100 to charity, put the game on Steam Greenlight, hopefully get a few votes on it. The problem is, it is a popularity contest. You need a lot of votes to make it into the batches that make it onto Steam. So a lot of developers in kind of my shoes have sat with their games in kind of this greenlight limbo forever, even though a lot of them do have good games, just because they don't, like me, they don't know how to reach out to people. I'm shy. I'll admit it. You know it. But I don't know how to reach out to people. So it's hard for me to like advertise and do things like that. So getting enough votes to get it on Greenlight and Steam would be very difficult, but I do want to try because obviously if it did go up on Steam, I could give you all Steam codes and stuff like that, and that would be great. And I could do achievement, progress tracking, leaderboards, Steam cards, things like that, whatever I could do. But the reason I come down through this list is because Team Kev25, actually, Martin Tranter dropped by and said hi. Hi, Martin. You've come by a very different episode because we're kind of wrapping up our game development season. We'll start a new one, but we just released our game today. And Martin Tranter asked, does Steam take 30%? That seems to be the consensus. I don't think Steam lets people talk about like numbers and things like that in a lot of cases, but it seems to be like wherever you look, Steam tends to take 30%. Just to be upfront, Itch, where Project Spaghetti is released, Itch lets you set what percent you want them to take. You can set it to 0 if you want to. I set it to 10 because 10 is the recommended number. Obviously, you can set it higher if you really want to donate to Itch, but the guy behind Itch is obviously making a great service for indie games. So servers cost money. Doing this stuff costs money. I want to make sure that if I'm able to sell this game through Itch gets some of the money at least. So yeah, I'm letting Itch take 10% here. And Humble. Let's see if I can find it. Humble. I do also want to add a Humble widget as well, in case some people don't like buying through Itch, for example. If you want to buy through something that looks more familiar like Humble, I do want to add a Humble widget as well. With Humble, let's see, where is it? With the Humble widget, Humble takes 5%, so it's less than Itch, but one caveat is they only pay you if you have $250 built up. So if you have $249, maybe you have to buy your game to get them to send you the money. I don't know. And there's also a chance to get it in the Humble store, which would be cool. So just kind of looking forward. Do want to try to get it on Humble and other services. Do want to get it on Steam Greenlight. Try to get votes. Try to get it on Steam. And then to kind of go back to Team Kev25's do you have an iPhone question. In fact, that's why I brought up the task list in the first place. Android tasks. Android and iOS. I do want to at least try to get the game on those systems. It's going to be a lot of work to do it, but I do want to try. One of the problems with iOS and Android is it is a very crowded market. Very competitive, very crowded, very cheap, obviously, because most games are free and just try to rely on advertising because there's no other way to get with billions of free games available. It's very hard to get people to pay for your game, for example. But still want to give it a try. I probably wouldn't put Project Spaghetti on there free, obviously, but it's a different market. Something I want to try for. Yeah, all these tabs indeed. Okay, let's see. Go back to the oops moments. Let's see, where is it? Yeah, I'm keeping track of the chat just so I can save it for posterity as well. I need to back that up as well. That is one thing going forward I need to do. let's just so I don't see all of it. Keep this chat kind of saved and going. I need to make an automatic logger, but here we go. Next oops moment. Bone Crusher. If you've seen all of the episodes, you would probably know where this was. The Halloween episode. It was a great episode. Trust me. Yes, but that was before, like I said, before Twitch had the game development tab. Not tab, tag. Before Twitch had that game development tag, obviously no one was stopping by the stream. That was one of those episodes where just literally from start to finish, just no one dropped by, talking to myself the whole time. I thought I was going to be clever by in Open Broadcaster, which is what I use to broadcast this over Twitch. Thought I'd be clever and have shortcuts to kind of start and stop the video. Seems simple enough. Problem was, in Project Spaghetti as well, I use the F1, F2, F3 keys to do debugging stuff. Alright, well you can see what's going to happen. I had a function key for muting the mic, and I was using that same key to check like enemy movement patterns in the game. And one of the things I was doing that episode was enemy movement. So what happened was, for pretty much the bulk of the show, the microphone was off. It was a good episode. I've tossed back and forth about whether to actually throw it up on YouTube, but I did. And it took a long time, but what I did was I put annotations with what was going on in the non-voiced segments. There was another time when the blood drained from my face. Thankfully now with you guys in chat, as long as I pay attention to the chat, which I fail to do sometimes, unfortunately. But yeah, as long as I'm paying attention to the chat, at least you guys can say, hey, we can't hear your voice, and that'll prevent that in the future. The final oops moment. Upgrading Game Maker Studio to 1.4. Well, this wasn't an oops moment because it had to happen, but this caused a lot of problems. Game Maker 1.4, when it came out, broke a lot of things when you upgraded to it. It was probably one of those things where it was just better to just grab your project file, move it somewhere else, and just reinstall it. All sorts of things started happening. Some things with the installation, some things that just started happening with 1.4. The one thing that plagued me after 1.4 was surfaces were handled totally differently, so that you get this brief second of time when the resolution was weird. And it took me forever to solve that problem. Finally tracked it down like a couple of weeks ago, but finally got that problem. That was another big oops moment. Yes, in PandaBits I looked up this episode and saw some of the dropped audio. Yes, random bugs and such. Yeah, that was not a good episode. It was a good episode if it would have had voice. But those are my oops moments that happened over the last year. A lot of them, it just happens. To be honest, I was deathly afraid this week of having lots of oops moments with releasing the games. It took me a little while this morning to get things kind of public and everything else, which is why I started just a few minutes late. But so far it doesn't seem like I'm having any problems where, hey, this broke my computer. At least PandaBits hasn't broken PandaBits' computer yet, which is a good sign. I will admit, it is absolutely frightening to put a game out. Let's see, where is my thingamajog? I need to grab it. Let's see, where is it? Episode 52. Yeah, I want to make that window bigger. Having a bigger monitor is something I definitely want to do with next season. That would be nice. The slowness of my system. Alright, statistics, we'll skip that, but yes, trick back through the year. Let's take a trip back through memory lane here, since we're kind of doing it already. Yeah, a lot of things could have gone wrong. So this whole week I was sweating bullets, but it seems to have gone alright. So from now on, I'm going to try to expand out to other services. I just wanted to release it for you guys first, because I didn't want to release it too big and have something break and, you know, really mess people up. But yeah, like I said, when we first started, it was either the Runic LP or nobody for about July, August, September, October. So about 4 months I was talking to myself. And then Twitch introduced the game dev tag, and that was great. And then, at the November mark with the game dev tag, PandaBits and Quetzalcoatl started jumping into the stream, and then other people started coming in. Cirrus, Bone Crusher, a lot of the other people that have stopped by kind of started coming in thanks to that game dev tag. And yeah, the Christmas episode, that was a lot of fun doing that. That was a special kind of YouTube only episode. Didn't do it live. What I wanted to do was at the halfway mark in the project, which was December, was to kind of make a new stage from scratch, including graphics, gameplay, all that stuff. And the reason I wanted to do that was because people who hadn't been watching the show so far might have missed a few of the things in the process. So I wanted to kind of make a concentrated, if you watch anything, this is what you watch. That's why it's been the pinned tweet on the Twitter feed for so long, because it just kind of gives a good taste of the entire show. Plus, I'm not rambling as much because I'm not chatting with you guys. Yes, and PandaBits, then me, I showed up. Yes, you showed up and everything went... The arrival of PandaBits kind of signaled the golden age of the show. It really did get improved from there because, to be honest, probably about that week before PandaBits showed up and Twitch announced that game dev tag, I was really, really, really thinking, if no one's showing up on Twitch anyway, I'll try Hitbox. But they introduced the game dev tag and I thought I'd give it a little more of a try, and things worked out. Yes, PandaBits showed up just before Halloween. So yeah, I think the Halloween episode with no voice was probably just before you showed up. But let me give some plugs to you guys before I go on break and show another episode and start counting those tasks. Yes, PandaBits, that's right. You were handing out candy. Yes, I was missing Halloween and you were handing out candy. It all comes back to me. Yes, that's when you were there. Yes, Halloween, handing out candy while watching the show. Yes, I remember that. Oh, trips down memory lane. But let me give you guys your props. Let's see. Let's copy this out to a new folder here. New notepad thing. PandaBits with candy and pizza. Hearing about PandaBits' pizza every week was awesome too. My stomach's growling right now, even just thinking about it. But here we go. If I can squeeze all these in. Yes, there we go. So here's kind of an overall list of kind of props to you guys things. Oh, I need to get Noob's YouTube video. I think it's just, I can add it. I think it is just this. YouTube.com. Noob 247365. I believe. Oh, I don't need to save it, but first off, I should give props to Jim. Jim Orion. Brother, and it helped me out a lot before the show even got started. Obviously helped me out a lot in life, being my big brother. Helped me out. Having a Commodore 64, I wouldn't be in games, or I wouldn't like games. Well, I'd probably still like games, but I probably wouldn't be as big into games if I didn't have the Commodore 64, thanks to Jim. So I gotta give Jim his props. He does live Kerbal streaming on Twitch TV, Jim Orion. Awesome, awesome show. He does an awesome job, and you can watch his Minecraft videos, his Kerbal videos and other videos over at youtube.com, JimOrGames. Yeah, PandaBits, thanks for being my brother. Exactly. Jim said someone say pizza. Stop saying pizza. Oh my god, it's making me hungry. And all I have is an old piece of bread that I wasn't able to eat before the show. Yes. I was so busy getting ready for the show that I didn't get to finish this, and it's turning rock hard on me. But that's all I have. I'm like a prisoner. All I've got is bread and water in here, and I'm sweating now, so I'm going to turn on the air conditioner and break. I'm going to finally break down. It's July in Japan. It's time to turn on the air conditioner. And PandaBits, who was streaming, is streaming Project Spaghetti right now. PandaBits has been with us since, handing out candy in October. Yes, PandaBits, Twitch TV, PandaBits. He's also in the game if you can find him. House of Klaus' stream. What am I doing? I need to put this in there. Good old House of Klaus. Let me just double check and make sure that I have get this right. I don't want to give people the wrong link because House of Klaus deserves props. There we go. It's lowercase. All right. Yes, House of Klaus. Let me grab the link from here. Oh, and how awesome. House of Klaus is now playing Ark Survival. Yes, awesome. Yeah, Ark Survival is an awesome looking game. It's got people flying on dinosaurs and all sorts of craziness. But House of Claus has been streaming Witcher 3. So let me just get that link in here. Where did it go? What the heck? Alright, well, I had it right, so let's just type it in. Copy and paste for the win. House of Klaus, all lowercase. But yes, House of Klaus has been by the show. I keep wanting to save it. Has been by the show a couple of times, and he deserves props for his Witcher streams and other streams. Also has a YouTube channel. Don't think he has set up a username on YouTube, so it's kind of a complicated thing here. Wow, I'm getting an advertisement. Lovely. Yes, the unmutable ads. There we go. If you need, if you need that feminine hygiene product, there you go. If you're in Japan, that's where you can buy it. So yes, now that I've got PandaBits' Twitch feed, which is hosting this, open advertisements are going to start popping over the stream. There you go. Yeah, all right. And Binra. Yes, Binra. Awesome game developer. Is using the game dev tag, streams a lot, streams a long time. But Binra has a great personality. Is able to pull off really long streams and keep it going. He's also doing like Twitch chat support stuff. I think his is more like a Twitch chat, like RPG, where like your characters kind of grow over time. But Binra, one time, what he does is when he's done broadcasting, because he has a lot of followers and viewers, what he does is he spreads the love and tries to find another game dev channel and hosts that and sends people their way. And that's how I came across him, because that's the first time anyone hosted the channel. And Binra is awesome. So yeah, that gotta give Binra his props. And Noob 24/7 365. Yes, Noob has been great at giving a lot of game maker advice. He's been active on YouTube video comments and things like that. I think he was even looking into like hitbox stuff, which I couldn't get working. He's good at game maker. He does a lot of stuff, so he needs his props. YouTube. Why do I keep losing this stuff? I could have sworn I typed that in. I could have sworn I typed that in. I typed that in, right? Yes, videos over at YouTube. I'm not sure how regularly he streams, but yeah, he's awesome. And then Bone Crusher, who's here in the chat with us right now. Bone Crusher does game dev too. Has a video up on YouTube. I'm not sure how much you want to stream or do stuff, but at the very least, I want to give you your props because you've been a good fan of the show. Grim Gary's come by a couple of times. I think Grim Gary gave a couple of hints on like Game Maker and things like that as well. Also does a lot of good stuff. NeoZoom also does a lot of good stuff. Here's House of Klaus's YouTube. It's in two places. That's why. All right. Oh, okay. I copied and pasted a bunch of stuff down here. Okay, well, there's the props. I wanted to give you guys your props. So I hope I gave everyone their props. I tried to go through like the YouTube subscription list and the Twitch like subscription list to try and give you your guys props. Beaveronix, I know you're out there. I'm not sure if you want me to advertise your channel or to give you props or whatever, or if you do stream live or not. But if you do have, by the way, in addition to like the streaming stuff, if you guys are working on any projects, send me the links. As I always mention in the show, I love to see what you guys are working on. Yes, okay, and let's see. I guess I should take a break so I can count those tasks, because one of the things we have to do in this look back, or at least I have to do in this look back, is to see just how long it took me to make this game, how far off I was in my estimates. I don't know if I want to watch the first episode estimates. That'll go crazy, but I want to count that up and kind of go through the agile stuff. So, go over at Game Jolt. Shoot, did I miss that link before? I could have sworn I saw someone mention Game Jolt before. Okay, well, just in case, let me go right here to Bone Crusher. This Bone Crusher, you deserve props, man. Game Jolt Games Killer Cat. Okay, so Game Jolt, I'll have to sign up and follow you and stuff like that. Good old no script. I don't know why that's bugging out on me. Details, releases. Boom. There we go. If it pops up, come on. Come on. I know it's trying. There we go. Okay, Killer Cat Exe. So I'll definitely have to check that out. So there we go. 6026. Let me add that to the list. Let me add that to the main list here. If I can find it. In fact, let me just save this list because it might come in handy later. Bone Crusher's game. So there it is. Games/killer-cat 76026. And I think you have it set for free and you're trying it out, so there we go. Hopefully I'll find this file later. But yeah, definitely have to give you your props. So, let's see. And Beaver Onyx, broken wrist at the moment. Kent Wazda. Oh, man. Oh, shoot. Yeah, you can use the mouse alone. So you can just right mouse it. I hope it's not your right wrist that's broken. Well, if it's a Wazda, I guess it's your left wrist that's broken. But you can use just the mouse. What you can do is, it's going to be really hard to do over video. Do this. Okay. Here's the mouse. By default, if you are here and you click somewhere with the left mouse button, you'll shoot in that direction. If you click on your character with the left mouse button, you'll duck. And if you click somewhere with the right mouse button, you'll move there. So you can use just the mouse to get around. I've been kind of doing that lately, to be honest. To be honest, I think the keyboard or the controller is the better way to control the game, but I did want mouse support in there, so you can get away with it. Okay. And Bone Crusher, about your game. By the way, if you think the game crashes, it really doesn't. I just didn't have time to add a game over screen. Okay, no problem. So if the game is over, it's over. And I see you did it in Game Maker, so looking forward to seeing that. After the break, I'll definitely play it. PandaBits. I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy XIV recently, and I've been streaming some of it. Not a lot of traffic on that game, but it's fun. I think, Jim Orion, are you playing Final Fantasy XIV? You're probably super busy, so I don't think you are, but before Jim Orion used to be big in Final Fantasy Online, so it'd be kind of interesting if you guys just happen to know each other without knowing each other. That would have been kind of interesting. But yeah, PandaBits, Final Fantasy XIV. I finally got a chance to see it thanks to PandaBits stream, and that was very cool. Wish I could play it. No, I don't even have time for The Witcher. I couldn't get into an MMORPG. That'd be the end of the show. Let's put it that way. But yeah, so Beaver Onyx mentioned right hand's fine. Well, at least your right hand is fine. I'm sorry you broke your wrist. How did that happen? I hope you're okay. I hope it doesn't hurt. Wrist is bad. At least it's the left wrist and not the right wrist, assuming you're right-handed. But I try it mouse only later. Yeah, you can do it mouse only. But you know, if you wait for your wrist to recover. By the way, thank you for picking up the game. I do appreciate that. Appreciate all of you guys picking it up. It means a lot. Obviously, you know, I'm not going to sell probably 1 million copies. Obviously, if I did, I could show up with, you know, my cigar of, you know, $100 bills or something, or 100 yen coins. That sounds nasty. Yeah, a cigar of 100 yen coins and start smoking that, but I don't think I'm going to get to that point. But if I did, that would be awesome. That would be the dream. But yeah. Jim Orion mentioned haven't played Final Fantasy XIV, but just had Final Fantasy XI for a long time, so there you go. So yeah, so PandaBits is in 14, Jim is in 11, so you guys don't know how the others' games compare. But yeah, I guess Jim, if you do ever have time to watch PandaBits stream 14, it'd be an interesting way to do it, or you could probably go to his archive and see some of the old episodes or something if you're curious about 14 and PandaBits. But I am going to take a quick break, so what I am going to do is show the advertisement again. I've got to spam myself at least once an hour, right? Please forgive me. Yes, I'm excited about the game. What can I say? So I'm going to spam the game and then show episode 2. Look back at episode 2. And Cirrus says you're going to sell 2 million. All right. let's go through it. Let's go through it. If any of you have watched the Lost episode, it mentions something about a dream. Let's show the dream, so you can kind of understand what that hint is. Let's go through it. Let's go through what these numbers mean before I go on break. 100 copies. You know, it's cold hard numbers. Let's give you cold hard numbers. What this means. Assuming itch.io. Itch.io, looking at their numbers, in total, they've only sold like, you know, however many $1 million worth of product, and that's across all games. So, yeah, don't expect to sell $1 million through itch. So I'm gonna have to move to as many other things as possible in the future. But I wanted to keep it to itch now because I love itch.io, by the way. Great service. Love the site, love the concept, love everything about it, love to pay what you want, everything. Itch is awesome. That's why I wanted to start there. But assuming itch.io, like for example, if I sold like for example 100 games at $7.99 and 10 I don't know, 10 games at $9.99. Let's do some math, just to show you what this means. Because the whole point of the show is to show everything that goes into game development, from concept to completion, and then some, I guess. So let's see, 7.99. What am I doing? I can do this math. I graduated grade school. I can do this math. There we go. 99. That math I can't do without embarrassing myself. So let's just not do it. On the calculator. Man, all these Twitch streams I've got open are really bogging my computer down, but yeah, that's right. Plus, yeah, alright, so 898. So like, assuming that happened, a year of my life would be worth that minus 89, and they all $90. Because that's what goes to itch. And then taxes, and obviously, so pre-tax. So that's what a year of my life would be worth if I sold that well on Twitch. Yeah, Serious mentions math is hard. In Pandavits, you got at least 999 games, so at least that helps. And I think a couple of you other guys are picking up the $9.99 version. I really do appreciate that. I wish I could sell it for $9.99, but with the amazing games out there that are selling for $9.99, I could justify that, I think. So that's obviously the 1,000 version. Let's assume, for example, that also Humble, for example, did. Oh, let's go crazy with it. 1,000. Let's go crazy with it. Let's live the dream. 100. Let's live the dream. It's nice to fantasize and to keep my numbers easy. So that would be 8980, obviously. And Humble's cut would be. Let's see. Let's calculate this one properly because that's a big enough number to justify it. Their cut would be 449, not 49, 449. Their cut would be that. So 8980 minus. I hope this isn't boring you guys, by the way. I hope this is interesting because if you are designing games, these are numbers you kind of need to think about and sweat about. So, assuming that did that well, that would be, for example, that. Remember, this is my fantasy world. What happens in real life is going to be totally different. But say, for example, I got 1,000 some odd copies sold. That's what a year of my life would be worth. I do need a full-time job, obviously. I can't feed my family on $9,000 pre-tax income. so I would still have to keep my day job, obviously. But that would be plenty. I would be very happy. If this game sold 1,000 copies overall, I would still be very happy. I would consider it a success. I consider it a success even now with you guys picking it up as you have. It's already a success. It's just thinking about getting up to that smoking 100 yen coin scenario. Steam. Good old Steam. Here is the ginormous barrier. This is a crazy number, by the way. This is a very crazy number. Because to get these kind of numbers on Steam, you would have to put the game on sale, so let's just... I don't know. I don't know what Steam does with that stuff. Let's just go with this stuff. Alright. Keeping the number simple. I hope that'd be a nice number. And Steam, I'm not on Steam, so I can talk about it. Thankfully, I'm not violating anything by doing this, so there we go. Steam would take 30%. 26.9. By the way, please tell me if this is boring you and you want me to move on. I hope it isn't. Bone Crusher, for example, you're making games. Other people out there are making games who might be watching this video later, so I hope this is interesting. Math can be one of those things. Like Stephen Hawking said in the beginning of his brief history of time, every time he includes a math equation, his publisher said his sales would get halved. I would imagine every minute I'm doing math, my viewership gets halved. It's about 10%. 5%. $5. 5%. There we go. Steam takes 30%. With just cause. Let's be honest. Compared to Itch and Humble, Steam does more. They keep track of achievements. They do upgrades for you. They give you user communities. They give you leaderboards. They give you Steam cards. They give you all this extra stuff. Obviously, they're the major player in town. And, you know, compared to other digital rights management services, you know, Apple Store and everything else, 30% is kind of where the industry is right now. So that's fair. It's completely fair. I would not knock Steam for taking that much, because without getting on Steam, I wouldn't have sold the 70%, for example. But be careful about using that logic, because Amazon is squeezing a lot of authors and publishers, as you know, because of that logic. Well, if you didn't sell through Amazon, you'd get $0. So if we take 99%, you're lucky. Yeah, you can only take the philosophy so far. So 30% I can deal with. If it got to like 80% or something like that, it'd be like, oh, forget it, forget it. No, work on the next Half-Life instead. So there we go. Let's get these numbers going. So 26.94. So for example, if I manage to do that, if I manage to not have any Steam sales and sell it for the proper price and sell that many units for that, that's the number with that, plus the other numbers from before, plus 9339. Yeah, plus the other numbers. The grand pre-tax total would be that. That is a salary. That is a good year's work, and then some. That is a salary. And then if it goes on sale and it adds to that, or Humble puts it in a bundle and throws a few more cents your way or something, that'd be awesome. So, that, you know, that's obviously the dream scenario. But I think, in my mind, this is a crazy number. May not even get 1,000, may not even get 100. But, you know, the dream would be to sell 10,000, get 10,000 copies of this into people's hands, either through Itch, Humble, Steam, whatever else is out there. Because here's why. That's pre-tax income, no insurance, no nothing. So to be able to support a family, obviously, and do this full time, that's the kind of numbers I would have to be able to pull down year after year after year to survive. There you go. There's some numbers. I hope, you know, for some of you who are living in, you know, cheaper areas of the world, more expensive areas of the world, it may seem cheap, it may seem like too much, but, you know, right now I'm living in Japan with my family. It's very expensive here, so the numbers are a little higher. But there we go. I tried to kind of throw out the numbers. It's kind of embarrassing to do this. Not kind of embarrassing. It's very embarrassing to do this, because who knows how well it's going to sell. But if I could get to that, that would be the dream scenario. Here's the serious scenario. Oh, actually, not 10,000K. That would be awesome. Yeah, 10,000, 2 million. All right, so Cirrus, there's your number. If I can get to 2 million, that's when I start smoking the cigars of 100 yen coins and giving myself metal poisoning or whatever I'm going to do with 100 yen coins. So there we go. I am going to take a quick break, try to count those numbers up, drink some water, and show episode 2 and spam the game again. By the way, if any of you guys out there are dropping by the show right now and you're wondering, wait a minute, this isn't game dev. It is game dev. It's just kind of looking back at game dev because we've done this for a year. We've actually shown the game being built up in GameMaker from scratch. In fact, maybe I'll show a little of that humble beginning if I can. And thank you, Cirrus. I need a break. I need to turn on the air conditioner. I am sweating. So here we go. I'll see you guys soon. Episode 2 after the advertisement.